Hi, welcome to Parnassus Studio. In today's lesson, we'll be learning how to play trills.
By the end of this lesson, I promise you that you'll have several tools to help you play them. We'll be studying the trills from Grieg's Notturno, and here's what the piece sounds like. First of all, what makes trills difficult to play? It's really the speed and the repetition. And what I'm going to say next will change your life. The key to playing fast takes both pressing and releasing the key rapidly. So the important part here is the releasing part, because a lot of the times people are pretty good at pressing the keys quickly, but not releasing them fast enough. So the question is, how do we press and release the keys rapidly? First, we can use how the piano key works to our advantage.
I've shown in a previous video how a piano works, and that piano keys are essentially levers, like a seesaw. Since it's a lever, if we play on the areas closest to us, the keys will feel the lightest.
Try to keep your fingers close to the keys, and try not to move them up and down too much. There are then the body mechanics that we can take advantage of. I want you to make a V, and then turn the arm like you're playing the piano.
And next, try to move the V up and down while trying to keep that V shape. So you want the fingers to stay spread apart. Now, close that gap between the two fingers, and then move them up and down as fast as you can. Do you see how much faster you can move them? So in order to play trills faster, you need to keep your fingers close and then also in a closed hand position. And now I want you to move the two fingers with no gap while keeping them kind of flat. And try to move them as fast as you can. And then now curve those fingers a little bit and then try to move them. And you'll notice how you can move them so much faster. So in order to achieve maximum speed, you need to keep your fingers close to each other with a slight curvature. Here, I am playing with 2-3 fingers spread apart and flat. They are slow and I feel a lot of tension. Now I'm playing with closed and curved fingers. Do you see how much faster and fluid the movement is?
When you play trills, it can also really help to think in terms of playing only in the down or the up direction. So for example, down, 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 or up, 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 up. I have a really fun example to demonstrate this concept really clearly, and we're going to clap together. Okay, so first clapping. When you clap, think about bringing your hands towards each other. So in, and just clap normally and pretty quickly, not too slow. And you know how it's pretty easy, right? And now clap again, but now think in terms of pulling your hands apart. So out, but just out, only out. So let's try this together. Out, 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 out. And now the third way of clapping is you're doing in, out. So bring them together and then pull them apart, but you're doing that every time. So in, out, okay? In, out, 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 in, out. Have you noticed how much harder that is? And you get slower and then causes a lot of tension. So when you play trills, it's very similar in that you want to pick one direction. So either play the trills only going down, down, down. So, you're depressing the keys, or you're releasing the keys in the up direction. So it's up, 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 up. What you don't want to do is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, or down, up, down, up, down, up. That will really slow you down and cause a lot of tension. Now I wanted to show you some exercises, and we're going to take the trills from Grieg's Notturno. Here I use the 1-3 finger combination. These two. And as we discussed earlier, you want to keep the neutral hand position where the fingers are close to each other. But the 1-3 actually has 2 in between these 2 fingers. So that means that you actually don't want to pull the fingers too close like this, but you do want to keep this gap between these two. So it's going to feel like there's a bit of space in between these 2 fingers when you play the trill.
What I mean by playing only in one direction has to do with which finger is active versus reactive. Try this first without playing the keys. When I actively lower a finger while keeping the other one relaxed, the other finger automatically moves up as a reaction. Now try it by activating only when depressing the keys. This is what I mean when I say playing only in the down direction. You can reverse this movement by activating when you lift a finger instead. You will notice that the inactive finger automatically moves down as a reaction. This is what playing only in the up direction means. To internalize these movements, I will show you an exercise. Start with playing the D long and the E as short as possible. For playing in the down direction, you activate the short note, E in this case. The D almost plays by itself as a reaction. Then switch the rhythm. Now play the E long and the D as short as possible. Activate the D finger down and the E will play by itself as a reaction. Next, you can practice in the up direction as well. In this case, you activate the lifting of the D. Then the E almost plays by itself as a reaction. Then switch. Now activate the lifting of the E.
Okay, so first of all, do a group of 3, but you do want to feel it's like a single group. It's like in one beat. So starting on the D. And then we're going to switch to the E. When you do this, you want to keep the hand, the arm, and the shoulders all loose. We'll do a group of 4 next, starting on the D again. This switch. Then do a group of 5. And switch. And a group of 6. And switch. And you can keep increasing the number of notes per beat when you do this. And what about other finger combinations? That's really going to depend on which keys you're playing. But in general, the 1-3 combination and also the 2-4 combination are pretty comfortable. But the 2-3 gets a little bit trickier, and 4-5 almost never used. So when you think about the neutral hand position, you can see that between 2 and 4, these are very balanced fingers, especially since they are about the same length. So, for example, if you're playing 2 black keys here, especially for my hands, the 2-4 fingers rest pretty much right on top of the keys when my hand is relaxed. So that is actually a really good finger combination for playing these 2 adjacent black keys. So these 2. And to remind you, the keys will feel heavier as you get further from you this way. So this over here is very heavy. When you do the 1-3 trill, for example, you'll notice that your forearm rotates like this. And in this case, do not try to arrest that movement, as that will actually cause more tension. But you also don't want to do excessive rotation of the forearm. for efficiency. So that's something to keep in mind.
When you first start practicing, go slow. But as you speed up, you might want to get a sense of how fast your keys can rebound for faster playing. Try this trick next to see.
To summarize what we've learned today, first of all, it's very important to use a closed hand shape where your fingers are close to each other in a neutral position with a slight curvature. Second, you need to pick a direction to play in. So either play all the trills down, 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 or up, 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 up. And third, you need to figure out for your own body and hands which combinations of fingers work the best for the keys you're trying to play. But if you use the concepts covered in the first 2 points, you'll be able to figure out more easily what that combination is.
I'm curious which trilling direction feels easier to you, down or up. Please comment below, and thanks for watching.